Welcome to Chapter 7. In this chapter, we're going to talk about variable costing as well as absorption costing. So what is absorption costing? We'll talk about that first. That is the method where we are assigning product costs in a way that is compliant with generally accepted accounting principles, or GAAP. When we manufacture goods, we have direct material costs, we have direct labor costs, and we also have factory overhead. Under the absorption costing method, we include fixed and variable factory overhead costs in the cost of goods manufactured. And then they show up on our income statement when we sell them as cost of goods sold, and they're subtracted out to get to our operating income. Now contrast that with variable costing. Under the variable costing method, we are not including the fixed costs of our overhead in the product cost, only the variable overhead costs. And just a little graphic here that sort of sets that apart. When under absorption costing for a cost of goods manufactured, we've got variable and fixed overhead, whereas for the variable costing approach, not surprisingly, we only get variable costs. Just go back. Under the variable costing, the fixed factory overhead, things like our rent, our insurance, those go into period costs, not into our cost of goods sold. All right. And the reason that we use these two different methods, as I said before, one of them is compliant with GAAP, which is what we have to do when we're producing financial statements for external users. But oftentimes those financial statements don't give our managers all of the necessary information they might want to have in order to make decisions. So they are able to use this variable costing method to look at operations and products and efficiency and all of those things. So from a variable costing standpoint, our income statement would look closer to what the one that's shown here on this slide. We would have our sales, our variable cost of goods sold. This would get us our manufacturing margin. We would then subtract out variable selling and administrative expenses, and that gets you our contribution margin. And what is the contribution margin? Well, after we've sold an item and we've taken care of all of the costs that are directly associated with the manufacture and production of that item, anything that's left over is what that product then has to contribute to the general overhead of the company. So we then look at our fixed costs and we then subtract that from the contribution margin, and that gets us our operating income. In this example, we've got the Martinez Company manufacturing 15,000 units that we sell at a price of $50 a piece. And we've got the related costs down here. So we've got our variable manufacturing, our fixed manufacturing, and then selling and administrative variable, and then fixed. We've got, again, that total of 15,000 units, and then the unit cost that applies to each of these individual items. Now, the absorption costing income statement for this company would look like this, and we would have the cost of goods sold at $35 a piece, because we would be taking all of this into account. And then that would leave us with our gross profit, and we would have selling and administrative expenses coming out of that, and then that leaves us with our operating income. Meanwhile, on the variable costing side of things, we're going to only subtract the variable cost of goods sold from our sales to get our manufacturing margin. Then we're going to subtract out the variable selling and administrative to get to our contribution margin, and then we're going to treat our fixed costs separately. We still get to the same operating income in the end, but this is really a way for a manager to see how our costs are how they look sort of separated out from one another. And in this little graphic, in terms of its effect on inventory, if the units we make are the same as the units that we sell, in other words, if we've made everything and we've sold all that we've made, I should say, there's no change in our inventory. On the other hand, if we make more than we sell, we're going to have more inventory, obviously, because we didn't sell it because we made too much. On the other hand, if we make less than we sell, we're going to pull, and our inventory number is actually going to go down because we've not only sold everything we made in the period, but probably the stuff that we had on hand as well. So when the units manufactured equals the units sold, our operating income is going to be the same under both methods. On the other hand, when the units manufactured are more than the units we sold, then the variable costing operating income will be less than it would be when compared to the absorption costing. So if we think back to our example and decide rather than selling the 15,000 units, we're only going to sell 12,000, or we only could sell, I should say, 12,000, then we now start to see the difference in these two methods. Under the variable costing income statement, our operating income is 40,000, whereas under the absorption costing income statement, our operating income is 70,000. So now we begin to see a disparity when our sales and our production aren't in sync with one another. And then in this scenario, instead of manufacturing too much, we've manufactured too little. And I won't go through all the scenario on this slide because you guys will get sick of listening to me real fast if I start reading these. And all the same numbers, but now we see here how that plays itself out on the income statement. So up here we've got the absorption costing at the top with a 50,000 operating income and a variable costing of 100,000. But as I said, the variable costing is just a tool for management, not something you would see on the financial statements. And this kind of reiterates what I just said a second ago. Okay, so in a nutshell, if the units we manufacture equals the units we sell, then there's not going to be a difference between these two methods in terms of our operating income. However, if the units we manufacture is more than the units we sell, then we're going to have absorption costing operating income, which is more than variable costing operating income. And probably not shockingly, the opposite is true if we manufacture less than we sell. We've got lower operating income under the absorption costing method than we do under the variable costing method. And because of the number of slides associated with this, I'm not going to walk through these checkup corners. I will just sort of pause, and if you want to work these out, you can do that, and then the solution is here on the next slide. And I'm actually going to wind this video up here, and I will go on to the next slide for the next video for the next example.